It's the Full Force News Burst, proudly brought to you by Battle Action Force, the Treasury editions. I am your host, Christopher McLeod, AKA Diagnostic 80. Now let's get into the news. Full Force indeed. Hello, and I hope everyone is doing well on this Monday evening, where I am anyway. Yes, loads of news has poured out today of Hasbro, G.I. Joe, you name it. Hey, everyone in the chat, lots of you already. We've got Paul, Stanley, Real Zim, Same Time Toys. Hi, it's me, Grizzlehorn, Paisano, Blitz, Cal, Paul. Hello, everybody. Hope everyone is having a really nice start to the week. Interesting news broke today, of course. We'll be talking about the announcement by Hasbro to move to Boston after, I want to say, Saturday I was talking about this, and the amount of comments, it was quite funny. I'm reporting on this story from last week on the weekly just a few days ago regarding the fact that the leaders of like Rhode Island and Pawtucket, or kind of areas or what have you in Rhode Island, were basically saying they're kind of being ghosted by Hasbro. They weren't telling them, you know, the time is up. They need to know what's actually the decision that's being made. And then they go and announce today, of all days, just to keep me on my toes, that they're going to move to Boston officially. So we'll get into that. We'll talk about some of the details. We'll cry a little bit, maybe. I don't know, I might. And then, of course, we'll talk about some other news that came out, which I have a little theory, a running theory about the other main news that came out today. But we've got comics news to talk about first. So let's talk about the comics news first. Skybound have announced or revealed a new run of covers by Steve Beach. So we'll start with that, and then we'll get into the Hasbro move, and then we'll get into the classified news. And also, this came in today. Oh, Marjorie Blood Orange. So can't wait to Major Blood. I bet you've never heard Major Blood referred to as Marjorie Blood Orange before, have you? Know that's going to be my that's my rap. The new rap name is Marjorie Blood Orange. Lil Marjorie Blood Orange. Right, let's get on with it. Let's stop talking absolute bonkers nonsense, and let's do, to start with, some comics news. So yes, comics news. We have got a new run of covers, which is interesting because actually the first cover of this run by Steve Beach has been seen and known for quite a while now. So it was interesting that this became like, oh, it's actually got a little series of covers that are sort of like connected thematically. So the info is that Steve Beach, who has done quite a number of kind of like really cool covers already, and just a great artist in general, debuts all new Gears of Joe variant covers for G.I. Joe: A Real American Hero. Now these are going to be cover C, like all C covers. That's not to kind of grade them, by the way. There are phenomenal covers, but you know what I mean, as in A being the main kind of default cover, B being a variant, and then so on and so forth. Now, so these are going to be the C covers of the next 10 issues, starting with issue 321 of A Real American Hero, which is quite impressive. That's going to go through to 330. So yeah, that is correct. And we've started, of course, we're starting with 321, as I said. Now it says, these variants each spotlight an iconic G.I. Joe character set alongside their signature vehicles and gear, which have become series characters in their own right. So Cobra Commander next to the Hiss tank. I suppose they've just gone for the two most iconic things ever right there, haven't they, in a sense? Then we've got Duke hanging from the Skyhawk, which again, we've seen both of these covers already, but they have revealed the first 5, and there's some absolute bangers as well to kind of go along with that. What do you guys think of Duke being paired with the Skyhawk on that one. It's weird, the Duke one. What would you say Duke's kind of signature vehicle is, or gear would be? That's an interesting one. I probably would have. You probably would have been. You probably would have gotten away with, is the words I'm trying to look for there. Like a jetpack with him. You know, something really simple like that. Because again, that would kind of fit the theme. He's really well known for that, especially on the movie intro. But yeah, like what would you put like Duke with? I mean, do you agree that it's cool with him going with putting him with the Skyhawk? They're both pretty solid, iconic, characters and so on and so forth. So I don't have any issues with that at all. Maybe it was a color palette decision. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I do like the fact that there's the whole block color on the background. So like Cobra Commander and the Hiss tank have got the red in the background. And I have no issue there with Cobra Commander and a Hiss tank being synonymous with each other. Like he's been in the back of many a Hiss tank. But what would you say would be? It's difficult to kind of say their signature vehicle when they're not drivers necessarily. But yeah, I think they've kind of. I like these as choices, even though it feels right. Ed, you're right. It does feel right, and he's not exactly piloting it. You're absolutely right, or is he? Um, these two covers together equal blood orange. Thank you, Heitzme. You're right. Yeah. Carlos Duke's signature vehicle is an ambulance. That's amazing. Is it Duke though? So, yeah, it's Duke, mate. It's Duke. Right, but let's move through to the other ones because some absolute beauties here. We also have now this is arguably another kind of like this could be argumentative as well. This could be a conversation in itself right here. Who do you put with their vehicles? Baroness and the Ferret? Are you having that? I think again, it works. It looks good. The all white background is like she really kind of like flies off that literally with the in the Ferret. But I would personally say, and obviously they're going for the Baroness here. The Baroness is the main female bad guy character, so like it's totally fine. But for me, the Ferret synonymously like locks into the twins for me. Like Zaymot and Tomax and the Ferret seem I find those very, very like synonymous with each other. Like I feel like the Ferret and Tomax and Zaymot, that's kind of like how they showed up in the comics. They've been, I've seen them a bunch of times, like both of them sitting on the same one as well. Easy now. So I don't know, like I again, these are two iconic, it's an iconic vehicle and an iconic character, so you can't really argue there, can you? Where I think that the Steve Beach and the team finally hit what I would say is a good combination here, because again, you could argue that as well, actually, honestly. Shipwreck, Polly, and the Devilfish. Now that is it's a great combo. Like it's relatable for multiple reasons. Obviously, Shipwreck is water based, as is the Devilfish. But on top of that, if you were to kind of come to me and go, okay, Chris, this is going to be quick responses. I'm going to give you a vehicle, and you're going to give me a driver that you associate with that vehicle. I probably would say Wetsuit with the Devilfish. And I don't know necessarily if that's any more right than Shipwreck. I think they're both about the same, because there is no specific driver for a pilot, for the Devilfish. But I think this one's okay in that sense, because yeah, Shipwreck is more iconic, I would argue, than Wetsuit. But for me, if I was going to get like absolutely like, quiz, your life depends on it, and I would have probably instantly said Wetsuit. And again, this is a good point that Paul's made. Always found it weird so many people put a diver driving the boat. I get what you're saying. Yeah, like he is under the water totally, but he has to start on a boat. So yeah, I don't see that being an issue either. But again, This is just that's just my personal response, almost like a reaction response to being asked, who would you put with this vehicle? If you say the ferret to me, I say the twins. If you say the devilfish to me, I just say wetsuit. But shipwreck, absolutely, yeah, 100%, 100%. Put him in there. The Skyhawk, however, my mind goes to Lady J. Was it Clutch who was also flying the one Worlds Without End? And I can't remember who the other one was that was piloting a Skyhawk in that particular scene when they're going over all of the monuments and they're all Cobra ones, when they're literally covering loads of ground somehow and seeing all of these different like monuments that are all over the country. It looks like the Baroness lost a wheel on her ferret. Yeah, I think you well. I get what you're saying, but I think it's more of a yeah. She's lost it. She's going to land hard with those three wheels, basically. In the cartoon, Shipwreck was often in the Dragonfly. Yeah, true, RKW. He is in the Dragonfly in that one very, very was it 20 questions? When he's got that he's got the crew with him, like the camera crew and Hector Ramirez and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, anywho, it's by the by. These are phenomenal covers, by the way. Absolutely phenomenal. It just interestingly opens up this conversation, doesn't it? Of like who would you actually pair with these particular vehicles? But actually, that said, these are all really good pairings too. I'm not gonna go. I'm just saying I'm saying there's a conversation to be had here where you could argue that other characters or figures are more associated, more closely associated with certain vehicles. Now, this is where you can't go wrong here. CoverGirl and the Wolverine, check, no notes. Thank you, Steve. Beauty, phenomenal. And yeah, so I think these are great covers, and I really like these ones. And I don't necessarily think I don't necessarily go out of my way to try and get certain covers. Sometimes I do. Like wow, I remember like nearly turning the earth upside down to try and find that wonderful um what issue number is it now? It was the wonderful Jamie Sullivan cover of Ace looking down, but like you're looking up, kind of like at the camera looking at him with the kind of the earth below him and but like I think Night Ravens, and he's kind of like banking a little bit, looking at the camera, and you just see, oh, it's absolutely one of my favorite covers of all time. And there are a few absolute banger GI Joe covers that are some of my favorites. Action Force Weekly issue 2, which came packaged with issue 1 with the eel on the cover with Snake Eyes and Scarlet kind of like running through the underground tunnel with the eel kind of against the wall. Like that is another beauty. There are so many covers. Some of my favorite covers of all time are just yeah, yeah. And that Ace one is up there definitely. CoverGirl has to have the Wolverine. Indeed. Nice with the pink glow. Yeah, I like the pink background on this one as well. Kind of, yeah, the kind of maybe like a little shout out to CoverGirl's previous there. They need to do an alt cover for the alt cover and have a brunette short haired CoverGirl also, says Bad Wolf Media. Yeah. And a redhead. I mean, hasn't CoverGirl had every single hair color and style to this point? Anyway, yes. So these there is a little bit more information to actually talk about here. So the first wave of covers, what did I read? Yeah, the first wave of covers revealed today span issues 321 to 326 and showcase in order Cobra Commander, Duke, Baroness, Shipwreck, Destro, and CoverGirl. Oh, Destro! I didn't see the Destro one. Is that a mistake? Because I did not see. Is that a mistake by me? Because I did not see that Destro one. Or was that a mistake by them? I need to find that Skybound thing now, because that's hilarious if I've missed a cover. No, I think I think they haven't posted the Destro one. Okay, thank goodness. But they do call it out in the writing, in the blurb. So either that's a mistake or they just haven't there is a Destro one, but it's gonna be it's gonna be a different issue. But that's kind of interesting that Destro's in there. Again, that could be like a hint as to what we're gonna get next. Okay, Destro, synonymous with the despoiler. Um, anything else? Would you put Destro, even like standard version one Destro? Where would you what vehicle would you put him in? Ed says Action Force Weekly had so many great covers, especially in the last 10 issues when Brian Hitch was prevalent. Very good points there, Ed. Destro and the Weather Dominator, says Scott. Actually, that's not a bad shout. That's not a bad shout. Demon, actually, a lot of people, yeah, Paul, Same Time Toys. Demon would be phenomenal. The Stun, says Josh B. Yeah. Again, like any weird sort of Cobra classic iconic vehicle would work. I like the stun idea as well. Yeah. I definitely feel like Destro Mars had the design that like they designed that is what it feels like. It's an absolutely ridiculous vehicle. I love it. Motorized Suitcase of Money, says hi, it's me. Brilliant. I can't imagine we'll ever see a Wolverine in Classified. I think it's too big for a mainline release and not iconic enough to drive a HasLab. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll find another price point down the road that that works for it. Jeff says, "OMG, I think I just got charged for my OMGI Joe. I think I just got charged for my dial tone. Good work. One of my favorite figures in the line because it's so hard to get. Destro in the Bratz Caddy. That would be interesting, Carlos. Hang Glider, says Same Time Toys. I see Zartan in a Zartan and Flint I see in hang gliders because my only nostalgic response is Worlds Without End, isn't it? Yeah, Walter, Destro's Despoiler or the Dominator. I think the Demon's a good shout as well, but the Despoiler, yeah, that would be really. I mean, we've seen covers with him with the Despoiler, haven't we, quite recently? So maybe it could be that, but I think the Weather Dominator is a good shout because it says vehicles and gear. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a vehicle. It could be gear, and maybe that's why they're saying that, because the Weather Dominator is not a vehicle. Anyway, anywho, I think that's pretty much everything. Steve Beach is doing some of the best covers of his career with these gorgeous illustrations featuring your favorite Joes and Cobras alongside the iconic vehicles of G.I. Joe, said Alex Antone, editorial director at Skybound. I can't wait to collect the whole set. Samesies. In addition to the new Gears of Joe 110 incentive cover series by Beach, G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero continues with main covers by the incomparable Andy Kubert and colorist Laura Martin, and an open-to-order variant cover with a black and white version of Kubert's main covers. But we knew that already. But anyway, that's really cool. Anyway, big shout out to Skybound for doing amazing work and for getting awesome artists like Steve Beach to do some beautiful covers for us, right? And to start conversations like this about I wonder what figure should go with a vehicle and what have you. Anyway, it's by the by, and it's all just a bit of fun at the end of the day, isn't it? Let's face it. We can all have our different opinions about these things, but at the end of the day, it's just a bit of fun, ain't it? Now, speaking of a bit of fun, we'll probably veer away from the fun angle to talk about probably the biggest story of the day, which, is Hasbro's eventual move now to Boston. So let's get going. Yeah, this one's a weird one, isn't it? So, like I said, on Saturday on the weekly, I was discussing, um, the story that Hasbro are effectively ghosting the mayor of Rhode Island, I want to say, or maybe the mayor of Pawtucket and the governor of Rhode Island. That makes more sense. By not really responding to their questions regarding what they were actually going to do in this kind of like situation where they were talking about leaving Rhode Island for Boston. Obviously, this year has been a little bit of a absolute nightmare. So I think lots of things happened that put like a little bit of a spanner in the works, or a wrench, depending on where you're from. But that clearly didn't stop them from going ahead with this particular situation, moving out. I mean, let's start first of all with the fact that Rhode Island, Pawtucket, Providence as well, before they moved there, because they've moved out of, they've moved a building out of the area already, by just not being there anymore, like not really moving anywhere, but like just um, not having their corporate offices in Providence. That was a shame. I remember when the sign got eventually taken down. So they'd been moved out for a number of months, for a while actually. It could even have been a year, and the sign was still up, so I'd still see it driving on 95. And you go past and I'd see it, and it still felt nice, even though they weren't there, to see that kind of like logo and everything. And then obviously that was removed, and then it was like, oh no, that's the end of that then. But then I always kind of felt like they were probably always going to have this particular spot in Pawtucket, if for nothing else, like a historic landmark sort of scenario. Do you know what I mean? Like kind of having it, not saying that, like that's not financially viable, but I'm not sure how financially viable this move is going to end up being. That said, like I said, a lot of history in Pawtucket, for GI Joe, for Hasbro. So this hurts a little bit, and obviously none of us like change, of course. Bad Wolf Media says, Chris, just refer to all Rhode Island leaders at any level as Peter. Everyone will get the joke, I'm sure. Does this confirm Classified Cutter is coming soon? Says Ed. Oh yeah, yeah. Clearly it does. So they can give him the Boston Red Sox hat, right? They've been in Rhode Island since forever, Reels. It's been crazy. So anyway, this is what they had to say on their socials. So I'm going to read the social post out, because I'm not going to go into details with the press release, because they've effectively broken down the main points here, and we can talk about these in individual sections. So Hasbro is making a move. We're packing up our game pieces and heading to a brand new home at 400 Summer Street in Boston, Massachusetts. This new space, 7 floors across 265,000 square feet, jeez, will anchor our toys, board games, licensing businesses, and corporate services housing teams that power some of the world's most iconic brands. It's a gross way of saying the whole operation is moving there, basically. Anchor. Why Boston? Because it's buzzing with innovative thinkers, world-class partners, and tons of creative energy. Exactly what we need for our next adventure. I don't know about that. Rhode Island will always be part of our story. We're incredibly proud of our history there, and we're committed to staying connected with our community and local partners for years to come. I think that's an empty threat, in a sense. Not an empty threat. I think that's just empty words there, isn't it? It's kind of saying we are, in what way will they be committed to staying connected? Do you know what I mean? Like you couldn't be less committed than completely disconnecting and moving to another state. Like there's no other way of there's no other way of describing that, is there really? In any case, I digress. We can't wait to open the doors to our new Boston office by the end of 2026. So it's going to be a mission between now and the end of next year where they move everything over. So it's not like a clean cut break scenario. This is going to be like shifting stuff over, bit by bit, as you'd expect, I guess, with these huge kind of operations. Now, this part is also a bit hard to swallow, because I feel like this is one of those decisions that's been made without all of the people that work there really in mind. So until then, we'll ensure the transition is as smooth as possible for our team members and their families, partners, and our cherished Rhode Island community. What? So first of all, it's going to be the team members and their families and partners who are going to be doing most of the work here. Do you know what I mean? Like that's, I don't know how they're going to be able to ensure the transition is as smooth as possible for them when they're the ones effectively making that transition. Um, and again, I don't think the thought has gone into the current workforce. But then when does it? I mean, like you're talking about, yeah, the kind of like constant layoffs, which have been mentioned here again. I genuinely think there's an element here that's by design of sort of being able to make, well, not being able to make cuts, but being able to do something indirectly that allows some of the workforce to leave. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like people are going to have to go because they can't do it. They can't move up and move to Boston, or they can't move closer because it's expensive for goodness sake. And then in terms of like the actual commutes for a lot of people, if you're having to go through Providence to if you're the other side of Providence and you have to like literally go through Providence to go anywhere near Massachusetts, then you're gonna have an absolute nightmare of a journey. Trust me, I've done it a lot. And that alone is going to, have people kind of like concerned for, that length of commute. Then it's I guarantee it's not set up for people to drive in. Like, I guarantee there's probably like 5 parking spaces there. This is Boston, guys, and this is like a rented building, basically rented space. So I, I don't think there's going to be people are going to be doing a lot of train commuting. I'll put it that way. Um, in any case, yeah, that's the hardest part for me because it's like this decision has very much been made not with the workforce in mind, because so many of them are, like, again, with families, in positions where they're already commuting a distance, but they're in a place where they can actually afford it and have a family and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think this is very much um I think Paul mentioned that in the comments, like a soft layoff is kind of what it feels like. Because there's going to be people that can't do this. Let's face it. There's going to be people. I've thought about this a lot. There's going to be people that cannot afford to do this, whether it's the extra commute, the time that you throw onto, your back and forth every day, pretty much. Your the cost for people commuting in by train as well, that's going to be expensive. That ain't cheap either. And it's not even like, Boston's like uh what's it called, Boston's sort of like transit and stuff like that isn't like, it isn't the greatest. So I don't know, anyway, it's all very crap and a bit rubbish, but they're getting a new cool place, so I don't know. One of the things could be that, it ends up being quite a serious kind of crazy cool destination sort of building, and maybe they could have a section the way that, I don't know how it's kind of like built or designed, but there was a conversation a while back where Rhode Island were trying to keep um, Hasbro in state, and they mentioned having a special building made for them in Providence. And the special building would have had like a sort of like a museum part section that people could go and visit and have a look at and stuff, that wasn't like technically part, like it was part of the building, but obviously, it's not like you can sneak in and see all the cool stuff they're working on. So I wonder if there's an element here where they might do something like a physical sort of space that allows for, yeah, like little mini conventions or something, like a little mini PulseCon or not a 1027. Can't say 10. Well, no wonder there's no 1027 this year. Well, I say that not actually knowing fully well if that's the case. We know there's no PulseCon, but it makes more sense that but maybe they should have done one last 1027 this year. If I hope they do now. I hope they do a 1027 event just for this year, just so we can squeeze one more in. But yeah, I don't know. This is definitely I don't know how good this is going to be. Well, it's certainly not going to be that great for a lot of people in the short term, and even for the long term. I think a lot. they'll probably get a lot of influx of staff from the Boston direct area as well, I could imagine. But anyway, just a few more things to add here. In addition to our new East Coast home on the West Coast, our Seattle area office serves as the headquarters for the gaming and digital business. Our Renton, Washington location, I was going to say Massachusetts. Washington location is already home to legendary franchises like Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons, and Hasbro's expanding tech and digital gaming operations, which is still not really kind of on show yet, are they? Beyond Boston and Renton, Hasbro's 30 plus locations around the world continue to play a critical role. I like that in our creative pipeline, digital innovation, and operations. All of this ladders up to us. Gross. All of this ladders up to our strategy, or snakes down, to accelerate innovation, attract top talent, drive long-term growth, and continue bringing epic toys, games, and play experiences to fans and families around the world. There you go. Right. It's all been discussed, I would say, by me. Yeah. I don't know. It's all quite sad, isn't it? Yeah, they'll have a pizza party to celebrate the move, no doubt, Blitz. Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure they'll save a ton of money in all of the taxes. Boston taxes are significantly lower than those in Rhode Island, says Rancid Dragon Productions. Yeah, that was noted early on as a like a pro for them to move. But yeah, anyway. Right then. That's enough of that. Shall we move on? Now, funny enough, this popped up first during the day. Yes, the police emergency service unit. The promo images just started showing up on, and this was really weird, I thought. So they dropped on all of the GI Joe specific what they called social pages, right? All of the promo images that leaked the night before, they didn't show it the next day, if you remember well, right? But the post went up without any text attached to it. And then after I'd gone through the process of posting on all of the pages and everything to say, oh, looks like this is happening, but no kind of information yet. We got like the text sort of added after the fact, which is kind of weird as well. So anyway, it's stated that we're excited to share that the legacy ESU police officer will be reporting for duty this fall. Look out for this classified series figure arriving at your favorite physical and online retailers in the coming weeks. Very vague. Don't miss your chance to add the legacy ESU police officer to your collection. Now, with all of the other fall related scenarios happening soon, it wouldn't surprise me if this goes up around about the same time as Pythona for the conventions. What was the other one? Walmart Collecticon for the Ghost Viper. Because it's all going to be around like the 9th of October-ish. And then wherever Short Fuse and Steeler end up landing, which will be for this particular Target Full Geek Out, but we don't know which Friday, obviously, do we? Could be this one, could be next one, could be one closer to October. So that said, yeah, there's no mention of Pulse on here, and usually they do go out of their way to say that. So I'm wondering if it does. I mean, it says favorite physical and online retailers, so that obviously means GameStop mainline. It's mainline, isn't it? GameStop, Target, Walmart, and then Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. And then you'd expect Pulse, I guess. But the fact they don't say it, and they usually do say it very clearly, makes me wonder if it's going to be on Pulse at all. It might not. It might not actually end up on Pulse. Which, and also, I just realised one other thing: we're not in the comics burst anymore, Chris. So I should have done it when I did the explosion. I should have done that. But there you go. I've done it now. Thanks. Thanks for telling me, guys. Everyone's just looking at a yellow screen, like, oh, we're not in the comics anymore. And we haven't been like I did the whole Hasbro thing during the comics burst graphic. That hurts me deep within my soul. I'm just kidding, guys. But yeah. So I don't know is the answer to my question to myself, whether this will actually go up on Pulse. It probably will. Let's face it. Obviously, the other one, of course, being Amazon as well. The other one, because we have got kind of they called backdoor listings. Kitty said. Whatever, there are listings that were going around, weren't there, for Amazon and GameStop and stuff like that. So yeah, a bit vague. They don't give an exact date, and it just says coming weeks. So not this week, maybe the week after, or maybe the week after that. Who knows? We'll find out, I guess, when it'll drop randomly. Anyway, so yeah, again, all the promo images were dropped. So we've got obviously the package there, which I've had on screen for ages. The other shot showing all of the like the figure and all of the gear that the figure comes with, and of course the figure all geared up there as well. And then of course all of the promo images, which we've seen before because we talked about these obviously in the past. These are not new, but they're new officially, aren't they? So yeah, there you go, images of the police officer, which we've already seen. And like I said, I don't know if this is going to be, in with all the other stuff that's going up with Pythona and all that kind of stuff, or if they're going to spread it out. We'll have to just wait and see on this one. Yeah, but this is an interesting one, and again, I think they are doing this very strategically, because do you know what else happened shortly after this? Shortly after I'd gone through and posted all these images, and then they posted a little update with the actual friggin' information on it. Yeah, shortly after, well, I've gone too far, but I'll come back to that. After this particular bit of news that dropped, they announced they were moving to Boston. So I wonder what takes up most of the press space in that. I think that's a very strategic move. I mean, it doesn't help right now because I'm pointing it out, aren't I? But yeah, like I feel like that was very strategic. Like it's like, yeah, get this out, make sure that's now an official thing that people have seen, and okay, it's done now, and then we'll quickly just tell everyone we're moving to Boston. And I feel like it did feel like it was done. Yeah, bury the lead, indeed, Stan. It did feel like a little bit kind of let's quickly bury this as quickly as we can, sort of thing. So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting Monday to say the least, isn't it? It's been a very weird day. But I can add a little bit more fun news towards the end of this one. Yep, more US port arrivals. I'll post this as a regular post and after the episode goes up, but I thought I'd just talk about it on here. Yes, we have recent kind of shipping data, which has given us, actually, what's interesting about this, SP Kyle, aka Pythona, has had 3 fairly recent port arrivals. Okay, so I believe they were actually in August, spread out in August. So 3 different August-based arrivals for Pythona. Then the Cartman 2-pack showed up in shipping data as well, Short Fuse and Steeler 2-pack. So that is in port as well. So that's now arrived. And that has now arrived. A weird way of saying it. That is now here. That's very Norfolk of me. That's now here at it. And of course, and now the Ghost Viper we've already discussed kind of hitting port. I think this might be its 3rd showing now. Like, we haven't talked about it 3 times. We've only talked about it once prior to this one, but it had shown up earlier than this one. Dire RKW, yes, is I forget the acronym now. Damn it. I recall everything usually. See what I did there? Do you see what I did there? Damn it, I recall everything usually. But that would be DIIREU. Doesn't really make any sense, does it? When you say Norfolk, sailors think of Virginia Beach, says Blitz. No, I'm Norfolk in the UK. But anyway, in any case, Pythona, Short Fuse and Steeler, and the Ghost Viper are now in abundance in port. Or not in port now. They'll probably be in storage at this point now. Damn it is one word, Chris. You're good. Oh, I suppose I could. Yeah. I suppose I could just. Yeah. Damn it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's cool. Anyway, so what was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to say after that. But yes, so effectively, Python has had quite a few arrivals last month, so we're a bit late on that one. Cartman 2-pack was very recently, but that was in September, so that just got here a few days ago. And the Ghost Viper with Dire Beasts is now on its, I think, third as well, kind of arrival at port. So they're getting some figures in, guys, for us. Dumb incandescent rubber extras, says Rancid Dragon Productions. Well, if you want to be really cynical about it, I might say, damn, I really enjoy. See, I'm a rapper by trade, so I can spit hot fire off the top of my dome. Anyway, Pythona, Short Fuse and Steeler, and Ghost Viper with Dire, recent US port arrivals. I say recent, like Pythona's like a month old, so apologies for that, guys. Anyway, that means that does probably indicate that Pythona might be quick to be in hand following the order process over the fall convention. So she might even be at New York Comic Con to purchase, maybe as a fine attendee of the show. But yeah, right. That's pretty much everything. I have updated the listings. So the police is no longer in postponed blue zone. It's now yellow again. And is just peeling. I'll just put police ESU there for legacy. So that one is mainline. So that will be, like I said, showing up in the next couple of weeks, they reckon. And then I took off because it was bugging me now at this point. We don't know what Chairface is. So, and it used to say Mutton Junkyard ? Mad Marauders Mutton Junkyard, because I thought, based on the fact that it's a Fanders exclusive, it's $44.99 figure pet price point, I figured that Chairface might be a repaint of a recent, figure pet option, which, Mutton Junkyard would be great to do for, the Marauders and fill out that team. And almost completed. I think Footloose completes it, doesn't it? Yeah, Footloose and Mutton Junkyard would complete the Marauders, I want to say. Oh no, I suppose no, not when you take into consideration Hardball, the Renegades, and I think and Falcon. So you could sneak in a few others in there if you really wanted to, of course. Yeah, I mean, like from the vintage lineup is what I'm getting at, obviously. And yeah, everything else is pretty much as it was. Yeah, but there you go. 2025, nice. And then of course 2026, no changes as of right this second. We do know obviously Lifeline, Night Viper, and Hit and Run, Big Lob, and Iceberg. We know where their listings are. Excuse me, but we aren't 100% sure on where they'll be position wise in the line plan. Because obviously it looks like more kind of like shuffling has been done. So again, until we get more information, at the moment, this is what we're dealing with. It's a lot of listings. It's actually a lot more, I believe, than last year. It is, yeah. And there still might be more to come. So that's kind of crazy. There's already more retro figures in the listings this year. There's one more because one of them was cancelled or made inactive. The listing was made inactive anyway. Sergeant Smasher, Carlos, thank you. Yes, Stiletto. Is Stiletto Slaughter's Marauders? I did not realise that, but she has got that deco to her. But is she actually officially Marauders, Carlos? I know Stiletto was the fan vote figure from the, what was the book Hasbro? What was the book thing that Hasbro did where Justin Bell and all of the kind of like Joe authors went in to try and create a character, and then it got voted in. What was the book thing called? Hasbro. Do you guys remember that? Hasbro did a thing where they basically did a fan vote. Kindle Worlds. Thank you, Viper and Barking Fridge. Stiletto is Mercer's bodyguard. Right. Okay. Bill Nedro. Yes. Thank you, Jason. Robert says, can we explain how we get these port arrivals? Like, how do we know about this? Right. One, Robert McCaffrey, the information is publicly available. What the difficult part of it is deciphering it without knowing what listings are. But we do. We have these wonderful listings here. Look, all of these gorgeous listings with internal code words and numbers and stuff like that. And they are what you see on the publicly available shipping data for stuff that's coming into port. Now you have to pay for it. It's publicly available, but you have to pay for it. But any any person in the public can actually view it and find it. I forget the name of the friggin' site. We used to look at it all the time back in the day, 2020, 2021. We used to look at it all the time, and then I kind of like veered away from it a little bit just because it wasn't. I'm not sure if anything changed or if like information changed or like maybe they put the paywall on it. I can't remember. But no, it's like I said, it's public information. It's just that we have this nice little kind of ability to know what the listings are in certain cases. And in actual fact, it's not even like it's not when it comes to the shipping data, it's not even like you need to have this like key beforehand, because like this stuff that's coming into port is stuff that's already been pre-ordered, and you have like you'll see it on all of like the boxes, like the if we go back to the police officer, you'll see it on the police officer box. There is a number underneath that 4+ on the left hand side on the front of the box. The number under that 4+ on the bottom left next to the warning label is the G number that you see on hair. So that G0966 number on the bottom left hand side there. So it's really about kind of it is a little bit kind of detective work, but it's all done in the public forum. It's not like anyone's doing anything naughty. It's not like I'm it's not like I'm it's not like I'm sneaking in to the port like thing, like dressed like Snake Eyes in my hoodie and my full cosplay, and like sneaking in there like, oh, that guy's back again that dresses weird and thinks no one can see him. We'd call the police, but we just think he's kind of, crazy, so we just let him enjoy himself. That's sort of what I kind of expect happens with these things. No, it's nothing like that. It is literally, like I just said, it's all publicly available information, and it's just a matter of being able to kind of like unlock it a little bit. RKW says before my time talking about Kindle Worlds, I imagine. Heights me says I heard 2026 only has under 10 figures from someone who saw the list. I trust Chris though. Okay. I can tell you it's a lot more than that. I mean, to kind of like explain it, we know a fair amount of what's on this page. We can't obviously say it until reveals and stuff like that, and then unlock it. But yeah, there's a lot more than that. I'll tell you that much. If anyone has the last of Nedro's books, let me know if I can get a copy. I took so long to read them. By the time I got to the last book, Worlds had been cancelled. Yes, Bad Wolf Media. I don't think I ended up. I do. I want to say. I can't remember. But I do remember downloading some of them, but I don't know if I got all of them myself, honestly. Anyway. It's detective work, but not sneaky private deek work. Correct, Heights me. Bad Wolf Media says, knowing these internal code names is how I got my hands on Crystal Ball before they were on the shelf. The case was marked with the Hudson name, so I asked the stocker to crack the case for me. You cracked the case, so they could crack the case, Bad. Yeah, you like it? Anyway, yeah. That's pretty much it, I think. Is the Mass Device subline continuing in 2026, RS Seattle? I don't actually know. I don't believe it is carrying on through Target, but I don't know if they're going to do more Mass Device. I mean, Emily stated very early on that it was a kind of 3 and done kind of like side quest, and I think she mentioned that during NYCC. I want to say I was at that panel, but I can't remember the details exactly off the top of my head. But she did say at some point, and it has been attributed to Emily, that the Mass Device was going to be a 3 and done sort of situation. And they've done it. They've done Target Breaker, they've done the Diver 2-pack, and they did Fanmazon, Snake Eyes, and the Polar Bear, and that's it, basically, as far as I'm aware. But you never know. I wonder if there's a if they did really well, if they sold really well, I wonder if they kind of go like, yeah, let's do some more of those. Let's maybe do another mini series and see what that does. They'll probably do something like that. Safe to say we'll get more Sunbow inspired stuff at any rate, says Bias. Yeah, I would expect so. Right. Yeah. Full Force Detective Agency. Let's make badges, patches. Yeah, I want to make patches anyway, just because I think that'd be fun. Anyway, that's the listings for 2026, and Gleep is Snowcat as well, which is fun. The official name only reveals currently are Lifeline, Hit and Run, Iceberg, Big Lob, Taurus, and Red Dog 2-pack, and the Night Viper. And of course, the digital renders, even though now, we're getting so close to these that are going to be kind of like, pre-orders that's very soon, I'll be moving these off here. And hopefully we'll have more digital renders to throw up on screen. But at least we know even though it's a bit vague and a bit hazy, we know where we're going to be getting these, and it's going to be soon. So all 4 of these sets, you could call them, because they're all kind of deluxe, aren't they? They're all very deluxe, 2-pack and then 3 sort of deluxe figures, basically, very much deluxe figures. Yeah, so very soon is all I'll say on that one. Right then, that is everything for me today. Before I go, let's have a quick word from our sponsor, and then I'll come back and we'll finish the show with a few more questions. There you go, deluxe Treasury editions for Battle Action Force. Go get them at skeletron.com if you're in the US, and of course from totaltoybooks.com if you're in the UK and Europe. Massive shout out to Brian and of course Total Toy Books and Skeletron and Hasbro and Rebellion and everyone involved in that particular absolute beauty of a reprint for one of the greatest comics in human history. I did fix it, Todd. Yes, finally. Chris got to do something that needed to be done eventually, but he did it. Diana Davis, hello Diana. She says, Chris, have you ever asked the Hasbro team why there's a dearth of new real American hero characters in classified? I'm not sure I understand the question on that, Diana. When you say why there's a dearth of new real American hero characters in classified, I mean, they're all real American hero characters basically, right? I need some more information on that question. Sorry, Diana, I'm not quite picking up what you're handing out. Not quite taking. I don't know what the actual phrase is. I want Worlds Without End series, says Chris G. You just want a bunch of skeletons, don't you? What's going on? Release the Gleeps as Blitz. Well, they will eventually. I'm just catching up with comments. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so far behind. Oh, Blitz, what are you talking about? Are you talking about backers? Are you talking about the Star Wars HasLab? I actually didn't know how that was going. I need to have a look. I've not been paying attention at all. And I was interested. I want to, see how it does, of course. Where is it currently? They're close. 7904, and they've got how many seconds left? How long have they got? 4 hours. Okay, that's gonna. I'm not sure about tiers, but it's definitely gonna fund, isn't it? That's got to fund. I mean, you're only 96 backers away now. That's less now. 7905. I could see that making it. It would suck, wouldn't it, if it didn't make it in 4 hours time, 4 hours and 30, almost 5 hours, basically. If it didn't make it in 5 hours, it was never meant to be, but I think it will. I think that's kind of a comfortable win there for the Star Wars team. I say it's not comfortable in that sense. Obviously it's gone on a long time, and it didn't seem to be moving at all, and it did look a little bit like it wasn't going to work. But yeah. Oh, sorry. You were saying why isn't there a dearth of a real American? Not why is there, which is what I incorrectly read there, Diana. I see what you mean. Why no? Dawn Moreno, Molto, Mongoose, Sherlock's, etc. I'm with you on that. One thing I would say, I think Dawn Moreno is way overdue. Bomb Strike. I know it's technically different because Bomb Strike came from a different era, but she's heavily utilized in a real American hero. So I would kind of throw Bomb Strike in there, but just as a but she's kind of got a different kind of history. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But the specific like comic characters like Molto, Mongoose, Sherlock, what was it like Spreadsheet? What were the other ones? Spreadsheet, and I forget the other ones, but there were some like lawyers and some administrators and stuff, which I thought were quite fun. But yeah, I don't. We have talked about this, and they always say the same thing. Nothing is off the table. They can't really go into much detail for the most part, but yeah, nothing is off the table. And I will go as far as to say I don't think. I think obviously the long debated hooded Cobra Commander situation. I feel like that will come to an end in like the next couple of years. I'd say. I think we'll see a hooded Cobra Commander eventually in classified. I just have a because I don't think that sort of mandate is there anymore that it used to be there. So yeah, we'll have to see, won't we, how that goes. But I see what you mean now, Diana. Why don't we have those particular characters? And I agree with you. I think Dawn 100% is 100% overdue. Yeah. This word dearth is new to me, says Chris Tank. I like that one. Dearth. It's like a lot of, isn't it? I feel I missed so much info. Crazy Monday. Big time, Joe. Bias says it'll fund with at best 1 tier. Yeah, I think yeah, they might be able to squeeze a tier out of it. It's probably squeezed a lot of tiers out of people. Yeah, Black Hat is a good one. Yes. Thank you, Jason. That was another one that I forgot about. Straight out of the Real American Hero comic. I also would say, oh, sorry, dearth means scarcity. Sorry, yeah, you're totally right. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'd be more excited for Molto or Sherlock than Dawn Moreno, but she's the clear front runner, says Ed. That is also a good point. I do like a lot of those other characters, but I kind of feel like Dawn Moreno is kind of an obvious one for me. I want a Dawn figure. Bottom line, that was the other name. That's brilliant. My Snowcat finally had the money taken from my account this afternoon. I was getting worried. Joe, that's crazy. Black Hat, yep. Hot Sauce. Makes sense they stick to what got them to the dance in the first place and sprinkle the rest around it, says Bias. Yeah, that's more likely, isn't it? But yeah, there are other characters that aren't from like the most recent era of Real American Hero, but you've got your Quins and you've got your, what are the other ones? There's someone's actually put a bunch on here. You've got your Quins, you've got your Billies, you've got the different masters. So there's definitely a lot of comic classics they could do. Venom, really, as well, like Dr. Venom. Fig 200 should be harmless, as Couch Boy. Oh, we're way beyond 200, aren't we? I feel like we're going to be at. I feel like we are way beyond 200, but I could be wrong. Like from what we're aware of, or at least maybe I'm off on that one. Maybe we're coming up to 200. I don't know, but yeah, Harmer would be really fun to do as a figure. That would be great. Darth Vader, brilliant. Yeah, we've got Kamakura, I guess, and Helix. But Helix was from the computer game, Rise of Cobra computer game originally, and a comic, of course, because of the Rise of Cobra computer game. It's kind of like multimedia launch of Helix, wasn't it? She was her own sort of like thing, toy as well, figure, I should say. Actually, figure came a lot later, didn't it? I feel like the figure came a little bit later. It might have come pretty soon. Was she? I'm getting really mixed up in that time period of what came first. But the computer game character, obviously, Helix was in Rise of Cobra, the game, which I actually enjoyed. Terrible, innit? Terrible. Yeah. Anyway, there's loads of characters they can do. Let's face it. And I do hope they do. The comic definitely is an area they don't get really into. They don't really kind of do a ton of stuff with that. So yeah. Anyway, let's leave it there, shall we? Right. So thank you very much for joining me. Spot on an hour. Actually, I say spot on. It's not. It's like seconds over now. Thank you very much for joining me, guys, tonight for the show. Obviously, lots of stuff that we got into. The comic news for Steve Beach's covers, the Gears of Joe covers, which look amazing. Obviously, Hasbro's moved to Boston. The Police ESU figure, which is going to be dropping in the coming weeks, and available mainline by the looks of things. Just as we expected, mainline. But and what's the other? What was the other thing? Oh, recent port arrivals as well, including Pythona, Short Fuse and Steeler, and more Ghost Vipers. Right, I will catch you guys on the next one, which, who knows? Today was crazy. Tomorrow could be crazier. Who knows? We'll have to see, won't we? Chris Tanks has been listening to the pod for a while. This is my first live tune in. Great time, Chris. Thank you, Chris, with 2 S's, Tank. Appreciate that very much. And I'm glad you interacted this time as well. We always appreciate it. I always appreciate it. And everyone else in the chat always appreciates it as well, because they get to chat and talk and do all that fun stuff that we all like to do. Gas bag over this ridiculous brand, which is amazing. But yeah, it's been a busy one. It's been a crazy one. I'll see you on the next one. Stay fresh, cheese bags. And after 3, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Full force. Laters. That's it for this installment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full force.